Welcome back, fellow kids. Last video I brought you Tier 3 of this handsome Nightmare on Elm Street iceberg, and this video is Tier 4. So sit back and enjoy the next 6 to 10 minutes, like this video, subscribe to my channel, and we can both leave here and be the exact same people we were before. I Am Nancy. I Am Nancy is a 2011 documentary that focuses on Heather Langenkamp and her experience playing the character Nancy Thompson, the main protagonist in Wes Craven's fictional horror universe. The documentary delves into the Nightmare fandom, what makes Nancy a film hero, and why Freddy became the main character of the franchise. Gay subtext in Freddy's Revenge. The second film of the Nightmare franchise is known to include lots of metaphorical homosexual undertones and has been dubbed by many viewers as one of the gayest horror movies ever. Such examples of this include Final Boy Jesse being dragged away from his female love interest by Freddy for most of the movie, as Freddy attempts to take over Jesse's body and use him for his work. In the film, Freddy can be viewed as representing the repressed feelings of Jesse that only get stronger and more controlling with the more power he gives them. The abundance of partially dressed men and the BDSM club shower scene speak for themselves. Censored Dream Child scene. So you remember Dan's death scene from Dream Child, the one where he takes off on the motorcycle and gets fused to his bike while Freddy makes a bunch of driving puns? Okay, so apparently that scene was cut and heavily censored upon being originally released in America because it was deemed too gory for audiences. The unedited version, which at this point is probably the version you've seen, shows the full scene of his face melting away and flying right off his body, with his legs being punctured and the spokes of his bike weaving under his skin. Pretty gnarly, but you know what I'm talking about. Nightmare in the Makeup Chair. Nightmare in the Makeup Chair is a documentary film released in 2018 that features Robert Englund returning to his Freddy makeup, as the process is examined and applied to him along with many stories about the makings of the films and his time playing Freddy. The makeup was done specifically for the documentary in order to pay tribute to the art of practical special effects makeup. Groundskeeper Willie. Groundskeeper Willie is a character from The Simpsons who is the groundskeeper and janitor of Springfield Elementary School. He's on this list because in The Simpsons Halloween special series, Treehouse of Horrors, he plays a parody of Freddy Krueger, who was killed in an accidental explosion caused by Homer Simpson, and upon his death swears to get revenge on the parents of Springfield for their negligence involving his death, by going after their children in their dreams where they can't be protected. He wears a striped sweater, fedora, and wields a rake as a weapon in place of a knife glove. John Saxon's script. This is in reference to a screen treatment of a Dream Warriors prequel written by Nightmare actor John Saxon, who plays Donald Thompson, a Springwood police officer and father to Nancy in the first and third film. The idea for the prequel was titled How the Nightmare on Elm Street All Began, and goes into the background of Freddy and his origins, including the idea that he was actually innocent of his accused crimes all along. Craven's Dream Warriors. Wes Craven's original concept for the third installment of the Nightmare franchise was rejected by filmmakers who took a completely different approach than Dream Warriors that we all know and love. His concept entailed a meta-universe where Freddy invades the real world and goes after the actors, filmmakers, and crew members of the movies as they play themselves. If this sounds familiar, that's because Craven repurposed his Dream Warriors idea for what we know now as Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Freddy's Greatest Hits. Freddy's Greatest Hits was a 1987 album by the Elm Street Group that featured Robert Englund's vocals as Freddy Krueger. The album has 9 tracks consisting of originals, covers, and instrumentals, but is not at all affiliated with New Line Cinema. Matchbox Toys. Matchbox is a toy company now owned by Mattel, most known for their cars, and in the late 80s and early 90s, they released a few Nightmare on Elm Street themed toys, including a Talking Freddy action figure and a character car collectible. Toy Boungie. Toy Boungie is a character from the King of Fighters video game series. He's on this iceberg because of his notable resemblance to Freddy Krueger with a hat, dual knife gloves, and striped sweater, although he's not wearing the sweater in all of his appearances. Sorry if I butchered that pronunciation, by the way, I don't speak Japanese. Board games. There were 2 Nightmare on Elm Street board games. One released in 1987 called A Nightmare on Elm Street, the game, where the purpose of the game was to get through and escape Freddy's dream maze using a special deck of cards. The other game was released in 1989, titled A Nightmare on Elm Street, the Freddy game, where the goal of the game was to use cards that make up a story to get through Freddy's house and take him down before he gets you. Okay, well, that's the end of Tier 4. Thank you for joining me in these pressing times. I appreciate your company and your viewership and the time you spend here. So tune in next time for Tier 5. Happy New Year's. I hope this is your year. I hope you achieve all of your goals and all your chakras align with the 7 suns, if you know what I mean. And I hope you do good things, okay? So I'll see you later. Bye.